Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to our latest webcast that we're bringing you from Travel Weekly as part of our Roadmap to Recovery series. And I'm absolutely delighted to be joined today by Adam Stewart, who is, of course, the Executive Chairman of Sandals Resorts International. So, Adam, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's great to see you, Lucy, and it's great to be back over here in the UK. And thank you so much for the opportunity.
I know you're in the UK, but we couldn't actually work out a way to meet up in person, but it's great that we could do this because I'm sure everybody would love to hear from you, because let's be honest, it's been a very, very difficult 18 months or so. Lots that I want to cover with you, Adam, and I know we don't want to hop back for too long, but I mean, the pandemic has hit every travel business so hard, and with you with your 20 odd resorts, it must have been very difficult. So how have you kind of coped, I guess, over the last 18 months or so with such a crisis?
I try and see the beauty in everything. And I think there are, with all the difficulties that we've had with COVID, we've learned a lot of lessons, and there's been a lot of evolution out of this. In the beginning, if we went back to March 2020, coming out of the best year ever for Sandals Resorts International in 2019, the world was moving kind of in our side of the world, moving at a progressive rate. The unthinkable happened by having to close the borders of the Caribbean. There was an initial panic, and because of because COVID is so personal to all of us, it was something that could affect us. We knew so little about it at the time. People were genuinely concerned.
Yeah.
Our job became in Sandals Resorts International and at the Caribbean, with the Caribbean at large. Our jobs became one of doing what we had to do to write health and safety protocols that ultimately would inspire confidence to show consumers that they could travel safely. We introduced the Sandals Platinum Protocol as early as the end of April. The first drafts were out.
Yeah.
They were trained and imposed into our company during the month of May. And then we started opening hotels and resorts on June 1st in Antigua, June 15th in Jamaica, and one by one we rolled out quite quickly where all of our resorts were very quickly open. And we went from what was a document that was designed. I mean, there were no stones unturned, every T crossed, every I dotted, introducing black light technology for the first time in the Caribbean to how we sanitize their rooms, hospital grade chemicals, and 18-point checklists. All menus went onto QR codes. The front desk was bypassed. Technology, wherever it needed to be able to have as little touch points as possible. And the results are there to be seen. The Sandals, starting in June, 30-40% occupancy on average, quickly built back up to 60 and 70. And from the end of last year to date, our hotels have been full. Our track record for health and safety has been unprecedented. In the country of Jamaica, the national average, everyone tested coming in on what we call the tourism resilient corridor. Everyone tested coming out. The national average is about 0.6% positivity, which is extremely low. And Sandals has been averaging about 10 times less that as a business. Meaning us internally, somewhere between 0.05 and 0.07. So it shows you that there is a way, and there has been a way, and the protocols have found that striking balance between keeping people safe, but making sure that they have the vacation that they paid for and the holiday that they paid for.
That's what I was going to ask, because obviously you mentioned a few of the measures there, and I know they were extensive. And has that changed the experience of coming on a Sandals holiday, or does it just make people feel more assured? Or
a couple of things I'd like to say. We did a recent survey across thousands of our staff, and they said that 9.6 out of 10 said we gave them all the information they required or more in advance. So people weren't having to dance around with travel protocols and government protocols. We were giving them that information. What we did on resort was we made a fundamental decision, and my dad was with us still at this time when we made this decision, quintessentially Sandals, we were going to take this as an opportunity to do more. So we moved our restaurants out to the beach. We were giving private candlelight dinners with tiki torches, under the stars, outside in the open air. where, elevating the experience as opposed to finding any bottlenecks or challenges.
Yeah.
Private transfers to and from the resort increased. Or scuba diving boats that hold 26 people at capacity, we moved them to 10, and then we just did more dive excursions. So in a sense, in a summary, at a high level, we became more bespoke, we became more boutique, and I feel that communication and connection to customers has in many ways become the new luxury. So beyond the quality of the rooms and the gastronomic experiences and the entertainment, communicating with our customers to ensure they had the information in a real-time way has become a whole new dimension in a whole new way.
Well, and absolutely, at a time when people were struggling, weren't they, to get hold of travel companies, to get refunds.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that communication piece was key. So it's very interesting what you say, that now communication is the new luxury.
Yeah, it really is. And just taking all the features and amenities of the resort to make sure. Now, we were very lucky because, as you know all too well, and many that will be listening to this, that we've worked it for years, we're open aired in the Caribbean breeze, east-west trade winds. Sandals fundamentally for years has been social distancing, but we called it luxury and quality in the past. So you don't feel as though you're on top of people. You never did. So our physical resorts and the way we've built them over the years became one of our greatest assets, not just historically, but during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And we had space to space things out and to put people, to make customers feel safe at all times. And I got to tell you, I'm not just proud of my company. I'm proud of the Caribbean at large. The compliance around health and safety protocols has been second to none anywhere in the world. All the standards that have been put in Jamaica before we could travel, I started checking myself into some of the boutiques and the kind of villas just to check things out. And I can tell you, the Caribbean at large has done an amazing job.
So did you work quite collaboratively? Obviously absolutely. You came out, you said your protocol came out in April, or the initial phase of that. And did you then sort of share between 100%. The Caribbean to make sure you were all at that level?
Absolutely. So not only did, what we had about a 10-day period where no one, the resorts had been shut down, our staff were sent home, no one could come to work. And then we started, the word protocol was something that you would hear in the official government world. It wasn't that social distancing. I'd never even heard that term before. So we all started on these Zoom calls that started at 7 a.m. and ended at 11 o'clock at night drafting. Jamaica drafted their protocol at large with PricewaterhouseCoopers Global. My team at Sandals brought on a number of medical specialists and advisors. The Caribbean at large worked with airlines. We worked with some of the biggest travel companies that you would know in America and in Europe. And for the first time ever, Lucy, I saw competitors sitting around the table truly trying to get to the same end game. And it was an incredibly beautiful thing to watch. We all know that travel is the greatest industry in the world. And we all know how much we missed it. As a matter of fact, another poll that we did recently across thousands of our customers said that 80% of our customers, the Sandals customers, said that they value travel more now than they did pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
We lost something that many of us may have taken for granted for some time. And, so we got these protocols drafted. We trained our own teams. The government hired hundreds of protocol officers to enforce, the regulations and make sure there weren't breaches. And hence, the Caribbean has really done an incredible job. And we know that the Caribbean is a region with fairly limited resources vis-a-vis, the United States of America or Canada or the UK. And the Caribbean has been so agile and tactical in how they've implemented this that, I gotta tip my hat and say, job well done.
Yeah, but you make the point there about it having limited resources, and none of this is cheap, is it? All of these protocols and these new things that you're having to put in at a time when you're not making as much revenue, because you obviously had to close your resorts for a short time, and and I guess demand must have fell away. We can talk about that, but how do you balance that in terms of being able to afford all of this?
You gotta attack life and ask yourself one fundamental question. Will this pass? will this pass and will people stop traveling? And we, not even for a moment did we believe this would last forever.
Yeah.
And not even for a moment did we believe that people would stop traveling. Travel is the ultimate. It shows you a new way. It exposes you. It's the richness of the Caribbean culture and the hospitality, the warm hospitality of our people. Of course, the temperature and the beautiful beaches. So we stood up and said, look, we're riding a bridge of time. We're riding a bridge of time, and albeit, Lucy, the bridge of time has taken longer than any of us had imagined in the beginning. Yeah. But you just got to get up every day, drink some beautiful Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee, surround yourself with phenomenal minds. There are amazing minds in travel. Over here in the marketplace, our travel advisors, and the support has been unbelievable. And I and when my dad was with us, we wanted to make sure that our travel industry ecosystem always knew we were going to be there. Customers were leaning into the brands that they trusted the most at this moment. Sandals is by far the largest and most trusted Caribbean brand. We tried to demonstrate and continue to try to demonstrate a level of agility in that communication that I speak to you about, and making sure that customers and our partners are never wanting for information, that we are responsive immediately. And it's all designed really to reinstate consumer confidence and make sure that people know with certainty that they can travel safely. And we went from a concept document to a proof of concept. Statistically, the numbers are in our favor, and they have shown that we have done it, and we're going to continue to enforce the protocols and make sure that people are traveling safely and having their Caribbean holidays.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you about how long these are going to stay in place, because you were talking about reducing the number of people on your dive boats or taking the restaurants outside. I mean, do you see some of these policies staying permanently, or do you think you'll gradually rein back on some of them and go back to how things were?
Well, look, I think a couple of things. I think for years, hospitality globally has known that there are health and safety areas that could have been done better. And an easy one to talk about are door handles, television controls, air conditioning unit controls. I don't think, and certainly not in my company, I will not take my foot off of the gas around the hospital grade sanitization that we're using, because I just don't think we should into the future. However, on the other side of the coin, we as people are naturally social, whether we're in a pub or we're at a Caribbean, steel pan band beach carnival party. And I think over time, as the pandemic and as the medical risk, the health risk subsides, I think you'll start to see, the elements of social distancing dial back. And it was always a part. Our resorts are incredibly social, so we've had to be very smart in how we've done things like our beach parties and whatnot. But what you're finding a consumer that is so exposed to the realities of this virus and the risks. There has been no pushback whatsoever. There has been respect from the consumer to the resort and from the resort to the consumer. So it is effortless. And the number of people, every time I go to one of our resorts, that say to me, I feel safer here than I do back home. Yeah. Your team have done an incredible job. I can't move without them cleaning something or making me feel comfortable. And that makes me proud.
Yeah. And are your protocols, Adam, the same across all resorts, across all islands? Or because obviously some islands have different entry requirements, and don't they? So how are you sort of working that out? I guess it's communication to make sure everyone knows.
Two ways to answer that, Lucy. The first one is the Sandals Platinum Protocol. Our brand standard is identical at every Sandals and Beaches resort around the Caribbean.
Okay. Yeah.
A feature of the Sandals Platinum Protocol embeds the national protocol. Yeah. So there are some differences on how you cross borders, on testing regimes, but all in all, pretty much seamless. Today, you take a test in all instances, a PCR test to arrive. You upload it, excuse me, and it's digitally done. It's, you know, you wouldn't feel the airport being any different today than you did in the past, other than there's a bit less traffic and they're socially distancing you in the airport. Aside from that, some islands have a second test during the stay, which is antigen, which is done on resort. All testing in my company is included, and it's done on resort. It's 10 minutes.
Yeah, so no one has to worry about bringing a kit with them or going somewhere when they're there to try and find somewhere to have the test.
No, everything is done on resort. Everything is completely frictionless and painless. And then that, you know, that test is what you take to re-enter your country. So so it really is a lot less complicated than you may imagine. And we're hearing that over and over and over, and it's in all of our threads. Where our customers
I spoke to someone the other day who said actually it's simpler than you think, but of course there is this perception that it is still complicated and people have got anxiety or even fear that things may change while they're away, or that it's just too much hassle. And so that is affecting demand. And I wonder if we can come on now to talk about, and you said at the start that, you know, you're back to full occupancy in some of your resorts, but I mean, if we could perhaps talk a little bit about the UK market. Tell me what's been happening there in terms of sort of the confidence of the consumer and how you've worked with agents to sort of get your messages across.
Look, it's been a complicated period because as confidence rises or falls, there's a reaction. The phones either start ringing like crazy, or they for new bookings, or they're ringing because consumers are wanting to delay or cancel. We have held on to about 80% of our customers in the UK, which we're very proud of. I think that speaks volumes to the brand. As of June, consumer demand has been outpacing in strong double digits 2019. As a company this fall, so call it September, October, we are 158% ahead of 2019. And that's a powerful statistic to understand, because September, October typically is the most complicated month for travel. Children back in school, it's the end of the summer period. And by reading through those numbers, what we're seeing is consumers are saying to us that they miss their holiday for one reason or another, and they're no longer willing to travel. They're taking children out of school and heading to beaches, resorts. They're traveling, you know, with their loved one to a Sandals resort somewhere in the Caribbean. They're leaning in and saying, travel is critically important to me. I haven't been able to do it, for the last 15 months, 14 months, whatever it may be. And we're going to travel this fall. Between now and the end of the year, Sandals on beaches resorts has very strong occupancy. Collectively, we're in excess of 85.
How are you looking for half term? I bet you're fully booked, aren't you?
Hard to find a room, so we're saying to our partners, move quickly for the fall, between now and the end of the year. And then as a brand, between January and April, we're in excess of 70% of our inventory pre-sold already. So some of the agitation that you see, some of the movement is very short term. People, there's topical conversation about something taking place, and you see movement, around a 30-day period. But when you really look beyond the numbers, beyond the 90-day, 120-day period, the average booking window for my company is about 10 months. So I can see, very deeply into the back end of 2022, including 2023. Consumers are indicating without a shadow of a doubt that they intend to travel in 2022 and to travel in numbers. So we're very excited.
You're getting the short-term bookings for people now who have missed their holidays and they want to get away and they're doing something this fall, or you're getting some really good strong bookings, are you, for 22, 23 for that winter?
That's exactly right.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. Very interesting. And in terms of what they're booking from the UK, Adam, are they trading up at all to better rooms? Are they staying longer? What is there any trend that you're seeing?
I'm going to include the Americans and the Canadians in this as well, because the same thing is happening across the board. We've never seen so many first-class flights booked. We've never seen so many people spoiling themselves on room upgrades, spa treatments, tours and excursions. The average spend on property is in excess of 30% for upgraded experiences. Sandals doesn't have a lot because we include everything, but spa treatments are not included in the package. It's one of the only things. We're seeing a lot of private experiences, tours and excursions with island routes. We're seeing private scuba diving trips that, in Sandals you can dive. The number's gone up to 10 people on a boat. But if you and your loved one or your family want to do a private scuba dive, a day dive or a nighttime dive, that's a possibility to be arranged. We have never seen people spoil themselves, consumers spoil themselves more than we're seeing right now. And partially some of it's because discretionary spending, slowed and people have been saving. And I believe strongly that a lot of it has to do with people just not having been able to quote unquote, let their hair down and just relax. And they're saying, look, I'm going to make up for lost ground. And we've created a lot of experiences for them.
I was going to say, have you had to change your offering at all? Even if it's just short term, I don't know whether this will last and people will just have this big blowout for the next holiday and then they might rein it back in again. But are you having to kind of alter your product range or what you can actually offer them?
Sure. So, I mean, from a look forward macro level of a Sandals and Beaches resort, all of the new generation products, we've announced that we're building 5 new resorts. We bought 4 resorts and we acquired a parcel of land beside one of them, and we'll build 2 resorts. So we're moving at a pace as a company, and the kind of centerpiece of it is we're about to change the industry again in amenities and quality once more. So, incredible standalone villas, private pools, and jacuzzis. The gastronomic journey. We're building 75 new restaurants in the next 4 years as a hotel chain. The concepting, the fusion, the freshness in St. Vincent. You can get seafood of every kind. All this stuff, product that is fresh out of the sea. It's actually live. Going to have live lobsters and in the restaurant, the farming produce is, farm to table, picked from a local farmer within 24 hours. So we're going kind of crazy on authenticity and quality. But in the very near term, what we're doing is we've realized that customers more and more are looking for bespoke experiences that are kind of handheld. So if they're going on a tour and excursion, private car, privately guided, they may want some kind of gastronomic experience in a private setting. So we've created a template to be able to execute that.
That's available now, is it, Adam? People can book that now. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we launched a division on the Island Routes, our tour business called Private and Bespoke. On the resort, we've created new menus of the elements that we're seeing customers demand and ask for. Upgraded candlelight dinners on the beach, private candlelight dinners. But
it just sounds like you're elevating the whole offering really across the board.
Absolutely.
Anyway, and then I guess there's those options that people can book privately if they want, which are also important.
And we listen to tone. So we're listening to tone in our contact centers. We're listening to tone on resort. We're listening to tone on social media. And we, you know how we are. We revel in the details every day. And anywhere we're seeing a conversation become topical, we're responding, with agility. And one of the things about us, Lucy, that continues to be very different is by being family owned and family controlled. We don't have anyone to get approval from other than ourselves and our executive team, that we're able to continue during the pandemic. This has always been a part of the company my dad built. But during the pandemic, we can make decisions on the fly. And that agility is, I think, a large part of why we've recovered beyond any other travel company in the Caribbean.
Yeah. And in terms of your team that you're talking very highly of and how quickly they can react, what did you have to do? Did you have to make people redundant? Did you have to contract at all, or did you use furlough schemes, or where are you now? Because we're finding here that people are now really struggling to recruit again and try and find the talent, because some of the fabulous talent in our industry actually was lost because they had to leave and go to other sectors. I wonder how you're managing with across all your resorts, whether it's in resort or head office. How are you coping?
So I'm going to answer in a couple of different ways. We in Sandals maintained at resort level everyone. We kept everyone. We kept all their benefits in place. and the health and medical, dental, and we made sure that we kept the ecosystem in place. At the same time, we had a big seat at the table in Caribbean travel, talking to our governments and saying to them, you have got to do, a lot of the welfare programs that exist in the modern world, the developed world. The Caribbean doesn't have some of that infrastructure. So we were able to speak and work very closely with the governments of the Caribbean to do everything possible to make sure that we keep the ecosystem of tourism alive. And we had great success. Jamaica put in a national program to support just about anyone in tourism that would support them financially through the period. It was all done digitally, which was an amazing thing, and it was an amazing thing to see it happen. Other countries followed suit and did the same. Barbados has a program. So the ecosystem of tourism didn't collapse, and we didn't allow it to collapse. In the marketplace, we had to slow down. We didn't feel the tone was right to be upfront and center with a lot of marketing at a time that people were very concerned, and rightfully so. So we slowed our marketing efforts. We kept the majority of our team in the marketplace intact. We did furlough a handful. We did things like others would have done. Everyone in the company at the management and executive level took salary cuts. Yeah. And we put in hiring freezes, of course. All of that has been reversed now for some time, and we've been building back. And because we are looking, to the future, looking through a future lens, we're beefing everything up. We're beefing up our team. We're beefing up our supply chain that does all of our consumption for us, because we are on the move to double the size of our company in the next decade.
I know, you're building all these new resorts. I want to come back onto that, because obviously you've got one that's just gone on sale, ready to open in April. We'll talk about that. But just before we do, just again, sort of looking at customer sentiment that you were talking about earlier, Adam, and how people are booking, because we're finding that we're seeing quite a move, towards travel agents, because, people want that reassurance, and they maybe did struggle if they'd booked online and they couldn't get hold of someone. So I don't know, how are you seeing your bookings come in now? Are they coming more through the trade at all?
Absolutely more through the trade. And that personal, it's exactly describing application, the connectivity and the communication, a human being talking to a human being, even if it's on Zoom, somebody that they know, somebody that they can trust. So we're seeing travel at large move heavily through the trade. We have doubled down in terms of making sure that we're our communication. We are a company that always believed in the travel agent, the travel advisor. Over the years, we saw the digital revolution, and you remember all those talks about the travel agent will become obsolete. The more complicated your product is the more in demand a travel agent and a travel advisor becomes. And we've always been complicated. Now put COVID on top of a complicated product, meaning you have lots of features and amenities, and now you have all these travel restrictions and things to know. So absolutely, we've seen massive growth on the travel agent, travel advisor side of life, and it's a beautiful thing to see. So our team has been fully connected. Leah and all the team, Carl Thompson on the Unique Holiday side, they have been in contact constantly, and we have a daily management call every day on Zoom that starts crack of dawn in the morning US time and about lunchtime here. And every single day, the top executives and representation from the UK is on this call as well. Every day we cross-check to make sure there's no protocol, no change, nothing happening that the marketplace needs to know. We do that every single day and have done that now, since my dad's passing. Yeah. And that's to make sure simply that we leave no one behind in terms of knowledge. Travel agent community, travel ecosystem, working with the airlines, the local governments, everything.
And with that in mind, if that's happening, Adam, what will you do going forward? Do you anticipate, that channel just becoming even more important?
I think so. We have always maintained. I would like to be able to say here that I don't know of a travel company that supports travel agents more. in the material, in the educational bits and bobs. My father was such a fan. I mean, he paid credit to the travel agent industry for building Sandals and being the company that we became. Long before the internet became a thing. And I grew up in this world. Sandals celebrates 40 years this year. I'm 40 years. I have been working at my dad's side for 22 of those years, full time, more or less. And I had 4 years of college and 5 to 10 in our contact. But after that, full time, and our company, our family appreciate, respect, and truly understand the value of the travel agent in the ecosystem of travel. And we don't plan on making resorts that are have less amenities and features, meaning they're going to take servicing. They're going to take someone.
There's going to be more complexity that people
more
are going
complexity,
to understand. Yeah.
Which from by our way of thinking, the travel agent becomes more and more and more important in our distribution than less. And there's only so much the internet can do, and consumers will choose their channel. But we're very proud to be and have this continued relationship now and into the future with our travel agents.
But which is, given the strength of your brand, I mean, you talked about it earlier, the strongest brand in the Caribbean, and it's very well known, and it could easily be a direct business, couldn't it? Because people will know the name and will call up, and they could easily. It sounds like you still really value the trade, input, and how they can, I guess, upsell and get their customers a better experience.
Yeah, consumers are gonna choose their channel. People are comfortable in the distribution model that they are, or methodology that they are comfortable with. What we as a business from the inside out is we want the relationship with the travel agent community. We understand the value that they have in their towns, in their neighborhoods and their communities, the ability to speak, whether it's at a parent-teachers conference in a school or at a golf club, or at a shopping center. To be able to do these pop-ups, talk about the bridal elements, the features that are possible. That is critical to our business, and in return, we have committed to making it as easy and seamless as possible to working with us. We're very proud of a bunch of new technology that we're rolling out in the next 12 months. That's going to allow ease of doing business with our business in a way that we've never done before for the travel community, the travel trade community. So we don't see it diminishing. We are doubling down and saying we want this relationship bigger and stronger. And those who come direct, they will come direct, but we will never stop supporting travel agents.
Yeah, brilliant. And one of the complexities, I guess you talk about, is around the wedding product, which is huge for you. I mean, that must involve a lot of detail and agents getting involved in that. And I mean, how's that been? Obviously, because loads of people put their wedding on hold. I guess you must have a lot of pent up demand now.
Pent up demand. When we reopened Sandals Montego Bay, which was the first hotel in Jamaica, I stood in the lobby and welcomed all the customers. And the first 7 customers I spoke to were all young couples that had to delay their plans, and they just couldn't believe that they were finally here in Jamaica.
Yeah.
It was all about to happen. The average communication between our company and the customer, whether it be through the travel agent or to the customer direct, is about 250 to 300 bits of communication around a single wedding in advance. So that's emails, phone calls, getting all the details ready. A lot of it is email. It shows you the details, and of course, put COVID on top of it, it makes it that much more complicated. But there has been amazing amount of people that met each other online during the pandemic. There have been an amazing amount of people that have been displaced. But today, all of our resorts except Sandals Royal Bahamian in Nassau, which is going through a sandalization transformation, which I'm so excited about.
Hang on, is that a new verb you've just made up there, Adam? The sandalization.
Sandalization is a thing. It is a process of complete and total transformation to create the next generation, world's best luxury resort.
Yeah.
And so all of our resorts are open. all the features and amenities are open. They're not limited in any which way, shape, or form. All restaurants, all banquet and conference facilities. We have elements of the protocols inlaid, but the Sandals experience, if you came as a customer, you take your test, you hop the plane, we pick you up in a private car or a vehicle that's got a handful of people, and you're at the resort. Everything is frictionless now, digitally for check-in. There's no desk anymore, and that's that.
Yeah, and for the UK, of course, the Caribbean is one of the only long-haul destinations that's actually, on our green list and that we're able to, or some of it's amber, but to be able to travel to. Although we did see Jamaica, the Foreign Office advice change for Jamaica at the weekend. Has that had an impact on your bookings?
It has for Jamaica. So a lot of customers will delay. As I mentioned earlier, we're holding on to the lion's share of customers. Most of them are just kicking it out 60 days, 90 days, wherever they can find space. It will have an effect. Jamaica has a bubble within a bubble because we have this thing called the tourism resilient corridor, which I was describing earlier, and the positivity rate being at 0.6% along that corridor. The government's disaggregation doesn't separate the tourism corridor from the country, understandably so. But in terms of what it's like to live in Jamaica, I live in Jamaica, what it's like to be in and around, everyone is masked up. Everyone is abiding by protocol. And again, I say that there's an amazing amount of maturity that has set in within this period of the Caribbean, and they've done a great job. Barbados has been a huge winner as a destination. Antigua has been a huge winner from the UK, both Barbados, Antigua, and Grenada. You've seen a lot of demand, particularly for those three destinations out of the UK market so far.
Yeah, and these new resorts you're building then, Adam, let's just talk about them. You said you've got 5 new ones, or you bought this plot of land. So where are you building? Just to remind everybody where we're going to see new Sandals resorts opening up.
Let me start with the first one that's going to open, which we've just put on sale, which is Sandals Curacao, which is really, really exciting for us in that it's our first entrant into the Dutch Caribbean.
Yeah,
there are 18 connecting gateways out of the UK over the Netherlands into Curacao. It is a beautiful island, and we have acquired the most beautiful hotel, which we're sandalizing. We're spending about £65 million on the resort, transforming it. It's a new hotel. It was originally built as a Hyatt, but lots of private pools and jacuzzis and standalone suites, butler service suites, new restaurants. It sits on 44 acres of a 3,000 acre estate with 18-hole championship golf course, 2 marinas. And the Dutch Caribbean is interesting. It's the Netherlands and Europe that meets South America, because it's just above South America with the kind of flair of the Caribbean. So there are over 300 restaurants off property to go and choose from. There's an amazing amount of tours and excursions on the island, but the resort itself is a wonderland. It's probably the most ready Sandals we've ever bought. So the asset is the closest to anything we've ever bought that could be a Sandals, but yet still we're spending about £65 million transforming it, sandalizing it. Yeah. That hotel will open in April 2022.
And what's the reaction been like? Because you say it went on sale, I think, just last month, didn't it? So people keen to try it out, the Dutch Caribbean.
It's been gangbusters. We sold in the first 3 days, we sold 2 months of occupancy, or full occupancy in 3 days.
Brilliant.
Which is amazing. So it's showing you pent up demand. It's showing you customers, they love our brand and they want to move with us. A lot of business from our Sandals Select customers, our past guests.
Who want to try something new.
Who want to try something new. And then not far from there, in the Eastern Caribbean, we'll be building our first beaches resort. It's under construction right now in the beautiful island of St. Vincent, a new destination for us. St. Vincent is, it's a country that is, the people are so amazing. They never had a major international airport for many years until I believe it was Valentine's Day will be 4 years ago, or 5 years ago, I think, that they opened. So they were able to get large commercial aircraft. So they were always limited in what they could do. I went there on a trip in 2015. The Minister of Finance now showed me around at the time, and we bought a failed hotel called Buckamet Bay. We're going to end. It's on 50 acres of land. You can't see a man-made structure from anywhere on resort. It's like a rainforest on this beautiful west-facing beach. West-facing, important for the sunsets. It's got a river that comes down along it. We're building the Caribbean's first glamping sites. This is going to be a beaches resort, family resort. So 3, 4, 5-bedroom glamping accommodation. Lots of beachfront 2, 3, 4-bedroom suites and villas.
When you say glamping, that's going to be Sandals glamping, isn't it? That's going to be really nice.
Butler service. Glamping in terms it's going to be incredible in terms of just think of kind of South Africa top class.
Yeah, when they do the safari tented. Yeah, I know what you mean. Lovely.
But with sandals and beaches swag in there. So every amenity that you can imagine, from surf simulators to the water parks, to zip lines for the kids, every field sport, amazing gastronomic experiences. But St. Vincent is an island that you fall in love with as you land there. The people are so amazing, and the natural topography and the cleanliness. And it's something that we're really proud of. So it's got a ton of boutique.
When does that open, Adam?
That opens February 1st, 2023.
Okay.
So we'll put that hotel, that resort on sale, possibly by the end of the year, if not very early in Q1 of 2022. And then, in addition to that, we have 2 resorts in Jamaica, the famous Sandals Duns River, which we did not own at the time. And we gave the hotel up because the existing hotel owner, the asset owner, was not willing to invest in the resort as fast as Sandals was investing in its other resorts. So 12 years ago, we gave it up. This was a deal that my dad and I did right at the beginning of the pandemic. We bought 2 hotels, an old hotel that super clubs used to manage called Jamaica. That will be a complete teardown, around a 400-bedroom next generation beaches resort. It's on this most incredible beach. And then Sandals Duns River, phase 1, will open in November 2022. And then a year later, phase 2, Sandals Royal Duns River, will open. And that is going to be an incredible expansion. It's I can't say a lot more yet because we haven't released, but that piece of it is going to be like something.
You can, Adam. Go ahead. Feel free. Tell us, give us a secret.
I'll say this to you. It's the land falls from the back of the property to the beach about 80 feet. So you're going to have cascading waterfalls all from the back. The entire water that comes into that resort comes from the Ocho Rios Duns River Falls aquifer. It's all mineral water going to be flowing all through the property and the spa and the lobbies. It's going to be, Jamaica, they say, is the land of wood and water. It's where Fern Gully, their original Fern Gully, is. And there's going to be an immense amount of natural beauty. And we're going to town and architectural design. It's going to be magic. And that my dad had his fingerprints all over these 2 projects in Jamaica. And I'm going to make sure that we continue to make him really, really proud.
Yeah, well, what you've mentioned him so many times through this. It's so important, I know. And his leadership was so important. And as you said, you've worked by his side for so many years. And, I guess it must have been so hard losing him at the start of this year, but you seem to be really sort of driven by continuing his legacy and making sure you see through his vision, Adam.
Yeah, my dad came from very humble beginnings, and he grew up on a beach in Ocho Rios, Jamaica. He had no formal training in any industry. My grandfather was an alcoholic and an amazing man, but he, my dad at 15 was the eldest of 3 and had to start making a living to find that stability. And he really gave 110% in everything that he did, and he was an incredible mind, an entrepreneur. And he bought his first resort in 1980, opened in 1981, for all the wrong reasons. He bought it to be able to earn foreign exchange to support his first business, which was selling appliances, which still exists today. And he learned from very early that the travel agent community was the community that he had to inspire confidence to. And he just went from level to level, and there's never been another entrepreneur out of the Caribbean quite like him. And not just because he's my dad, I think at large, he inspired a generation to dream, and to dream bigger than you can ever imagine, and to work hard. And your word is your bond, and old-fashioned principles. And he kept our company safe. He always kept it safe from the point of view that he never took money out of the company and lived a lavish life. He reinvested in our business over and over, and he taught me, he taught my family, he taught our leaders, he taught our Caribbean community, how to really reach for the stars and how to make it happen. He was a dreamer and a doer at the same time, and it's hard to find that. And we miss him, but he taught us all too well and prepared us for this moment. And I believe that he can hear us, can see us, and we will make him incredibly proud in everything that we do as we go forward. And we're very proud to remain a family business.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful, beautiful things to say, Adam. And you say there's never been an entrepreneur like him. I think you're doing quite a good job. You've obviously got these fantastic plans and vision for some of the new properties. So you're definitely continuing in the same vein, it seems to me.
We love what we do, and I think that getting up every morning and being excited to go to work is all the difference in the world. I say to my staff and my people, I said, if you don't get up every day and you just don't love what you do, and look at the glass half full, then you're probably not in the right room.
Yeah,
and
very true.
Very
true. And just finally, Adam, one thing I wanted to talk to you about was the sort of, I'm going to say the word wrong, philanthropy. Something that's very passionate that you're involved in with the foundation. And people might think that some of that might have stopped during the pandemic when there was so many pressures on people financially and just resource-wise. But I think that's something you've absolutely maintained, all that sort of very good work that you've been doing even through this crisis, isn't it?
Lucy, I was so blessed as a child growing up because I had a father who worked so hard, and he always said to me, you have to work hard so you can help people. And I had a mother who said to me, you really don't have to have anything to help people. And they had a very different view of giving back. I watched them both my whole life do everything they could for others, not just creating employment and economic opportunities through our companies, but just doing them. When my dad passed, the stories, I thought I knew a lot of what he did, but the stories of the things he did behind the scenes, never wanting the fanfare of it. But in 2009, I founded the Sandals Foundation. And it was set up with a thought process of saying, we come from a generation where we recognize that there are challenges everywhere in the world, and giving back is not only the right thing to do, it's our duty, particularly when, you reach the level of success that our company has gotten. So, it's an inclusive process of our travel agent and travel trade ecosystem, airlines, agents, tour ops. It is our staff, our 15,000 staff across the Caribbean. It is our customers. So far, in US dollar terms, in 11 years, we've been able to contribute just around 80 million US dollars of cash and kind, of which 100% of it goes to the Caribbean. My family and I pay for all the governance and all the overheads, all the operating expenses. During the pandemic, we gave Sandals, the old Sandals Carlisle, which we deflagged as a Sandals, a bit too small. Excuse me. We gave that to the government of Jamaica. They still have it free of cost. Electricity, water, the entire hotel to use as a COVID center. We bought ventilators. We bought thousands of digital devices for students. The list is long and expansive, but the Sandals Foundation is something that we are extremely proud of from a CSR point of view. It's run by a team and headed up by an executive director who's a lady I've known my entire life called Heidi Clark. The work that they do is remarkable. We focus on education, the environment, and community as our three core pillars. We love them all, but we really, really love education. Education is the way forward, and it is the afterburner. that's going to take us into the future. So it's been a lot during COVID, and we've had amazing support from many of our past guests, in particular those who have traveled with us during COVID. The same way consumers have been spending on themselves, their contributions during COVID have been unprecedented, and I just want to thank everyone for that.
Amazing, amazing. All right, well, listen, Adam, it sounds like you definitely, lots of people I get on here, it's been very difficult times, and you as well, but it sounds like you're really looking to the future, and it's bright, and you're very confident that things are going to come back, and you're investing to make sure that you're right at the forefront of that. So we're so grateful for your time, Adam, and it's just so lovely to spend so much time with you and hear everything that you're doing.
I can't thank you enough. Thank you for the opportunity, and remember, the glass is half full. The Caribbean Sea has never been bluer. The sand has never been whiter. And
you're making us all very jealous now. We're going to have to.
And I know we'll see you all there soon. As soon as we can have you, we would love to have you. We're wide open, ready for you.
Brilliant. All right. Well, best of luck with all the new openings as well. And but for now, thank you very much to Adam Stewart from Sandals. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.